Belgrade Board of The Town of Belgrade Board of Select Persons, June 21, 2021, meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I will take a motion to open the meeting.
Yeah.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the meeting is open. So I'm going to apologize. I'll pre-apologize, folks, because I had asked if they could print out the packet for me at the town office and they forgot. So I raced in to get it and I didn't have it. So I've got to bounce a little bit back and forth tonight. So first item is new business, discussion and consideration of awarding a bid for the purchase of a 1-ton truck. I'll take a motion to open that agenda item.
So be it.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? All right, that is open for discussion. I don't see Chris here. So Anthony, are you gonna?
Yes, certainly. So after our last meeting and hearing that 1-ton trucks were in short supply, we went in search of one. And we actually found 2 1-ton trucks, and we sent information about what we were looking for to 9 different dealerships. And Quirk in Augusta offered the low deal. And I tell you what, I'm sort of like you, Melanie. I'm working without the benefit of a printed packet. So let me call that up on my computer screen. I'll give you the exact price that they gave us. Hold on one sec.
It looks like $54,799 was the bottom line with absolutely everything. Does that sound about right?
So let me call this up here.
We had, if we go all the way down in the packet to.
So Melanie, today, and you may not have seen this, but late Friday, we took our current 1-ton over to Quirk so that they could give us a trade-in value. And so I got a final estimate this morning from Quirk, and it was minus the $8,500 trade-in. So they offered the same value trade-in that Height did. It was $46,299.27, and that was $1,262 lower than what Height had quoted us.
Okay, because it looked, I guess what I had was $45,696, and then there was correspondence on Thursday, the 17th, that said add to the price $91,1327. Total price is now $54,799.27. So then from that $54,799, we're taking away $8,500.
That's exactly correct.
So that puts it at $46,299. Now, I noted that we're supposed to be getting a fleet number.
Yes.
Did we qualify for a fleet number from Ford?
Yes. So Leo, the salesperson at Quirk, said that is not an issue at all. And so he assured us that that would not be a problem. If it did happen to be a problem, I guess one of the things that you could do is you could make a motion to accept the low bid, and should they be unable to provide us a fleet number, that the next highest bid would, or next lowest bid would take effect.
So, I guess when I'm looking at Quirk's, I didn't see a separate charge for the dump body. I saw that kind of bounced all in together. So at the top, we had the MSRP of $39,805. And then it says options, $48,05. But I'm not assuming that's a dump body because I've never seen a dump body for $4,000.
Right. And so I think that the quote that they initially gave us, the 45 696 included a dump body.
Okay, so they just didn't spell out like what the specs were on the dump body?
It's a 2 to 3 yard dump, and it was in the packet that went out on Friday afternoon.
Okay, because I went through, that was the one thing I was able to print out. Okay, so that's the 54,799. Okay,
How long is it going to take them to get a body put on?
So Rick, they said that they would install that body on July the 10th.
They doing it themselves?
That's my understanding. No,
I don't
They
see
said-
it happening.
they said they have they did say they have the truck on the lot. They just need to
Yeah.
put the body.
They, most of them got the trucks on the lot. It's the body. I had to wait 2 months for mine. I'm really surprised they can put one on that quick. And the other thing that isn't apples to apples here, you're talking a fish plow and a boss plow, 2 different plows.
Yeah, and initially, Quirk had bid a Fisher plow, and then when Chris talked to them when he took the truck in on Friday, asked that they please bid a Boss plow. And obviously, I'm not expert on this. You would have to tell me, is there generally a cost difference between those two brands of plows?
9% sure, yes.
yeah, there's usually a little bit of a cost difference. And it looks like, he did have him quote the painted steel V-blade. So I'm assuming that's what's in the 9113. The other thing I noticed was Heights quoted, I believe it was Heights quoted a rebate. And I went to Ford tonight, both sites, and neither one shows a rebate. And I was actually surprised if there was a $7,167, it looks like, for a rebate. And there's nowhere on a Ford site that I can see a rebate on a 110 cabin chassis or a 110 with a 7.3. Nowhere listed from Ford was there that rebate. So I want to be sure, whichever one that we go with, that we really are going to get all the truck that we're expecting, and that the cost would come down to be the same, because Heights truck is already outfitted with the dump body, and it's a steel dump body. We can see it, which is why I'm a little bit, I'm wondering exactly what kind of a dump body Quirk has quoted us.
Yeah, the only information I have is what they put on there. That was a 2 to 3 yard dump.
Right.
I may, what are we gonna do right now? Are we gonna decide between these, or do we have time to
Yeah.
wait, or? I mean, because it sounds like we have some questions for Quirk, we have some questions for Height. But do we have time to do that, or do we have to make a decision right now?
Well, because I think we were doing the special meeting because Height was going to hold the price through tomorrow.
Well, it appears Quirk has a better price, so maybe there's time still to wait. If this is just my thought, if you tell Height, well, we got a better price from Quirk, I'm guessing they'll reconsider holding their price, if not sharpening their pencil. I don't know. That's just my thought.
I have a real problem with them both quoting the same price for the trade-in. That never happens. Something's wrong. Somebody opened their mouth and told them one more. I would guess a second, but I don't know that. But it doesn't happen like that. You guys know as well as I do.
I was surprised as well, Rick.
Well, I think loose lips sink ships. And I'm going to leave it there.
It's hard to say. It's the figure they both worked with. I haven't seen the truck. I don't know, but I guess it's up to them, isn't it? You think it's worth more or less, or what's your thought?
I just can't imagine it's both $8,500. Have you ever gone to two different, tried to trade and get the same price, two different dealerships? I bet the answer is no.
You know, if that's the base Blue Brook price, maybe that's what they're both going by. I don't know, but could be.
And what was the other? Hold on just one moment. Something about the. So the other thing that Quirk didn't have put in there was, I think there was a little note that says that Chris asked about the wiring for the sander and that was not included.
I think it was a harness that he was asking about.
Yeah, a
Uh,
wiring harness. So with a couple $100 difference, a wiring harness alone is going to eat that difference. So and they didn't end up coming back to it with that, correct?
Yes.
Is it, they're both Fords, right?
Yes.
You know, it seems like it's almost 6 to 1, half dozen the other, same, more or less the same dump body. The height truck was potentially going to be a Fisher plow, and the Quirk truck a Boss plow. Is that right?
That's what was quoted by each. And to be fair, we never mentioned to height to please quote us a Boss plow.
Sure. I mean, we could ask that, I suppose, if that would make a difference. As far as I'm concerned, I've had Fisher, I've had Boss. I currently have a Boss. You know, I like it a lot, but it's not everybody's cup of tea, I'm sure. But you know, it is what it is.
But the town's already got 2 other ones right now, so why would you mix and match? Because you can put that plow on either one of the trucks at any time. If one
Is
breaks,
it
I've been to another one. I got
town plows or Fisher or what? I forget.
the Boss.
They're the Boss. We might as well stay with Boss, right?
That would be my suggestion.
Yeah. That's what you had, isn't it? Or,
Got 9 of them.
you know, I've been real pleased with it, you know, as opposed to the Fishers I used to have, but that's my view.
So I guess, and I hate to say this because I think I'm a little bit concerned that we don't see apples to apples. Like when I do a quote for someone, what I'm going to write on that quote is a Boss V plow with this, and this. The quote from Heights, it doesn't tell us the brand of the plow. It doesn't tell us if it's a painted plow. It doesn't tell us if it's a steel, if it's a straight blade, if it's a V blade. It just has a 8,500 for plows, lights, and sander wire, which seems like an under bid compared to 9,100 for a plow, lights, and that from Quirk. So I just want to be certain that we're actually doing apples to apples. And I am worried about that rebate because I don't know if you guys realize, but there's a law in the state of Maine that protects a dealership from whatever a salesperson tells someone. So they could put this out there and they should honor their prices because they did put it in writing, but technically they don't have to. So there's this minus 7167 with nothing beside it that tells you what that amount is. Then there's a plus 10,300. So I'm guessing that's the dump body because we don't have anything that gives us those specs, minus the trade. And then essentially they're giving us the plow, lights, and the wires for the same cost as the plow would be, is how that one looks like. But I want to be sure that we're looking at them exactly the same. How are you guys reading those?
So Melanie, I will tell you, when you look at Heights quote, that 10,300, that is the price of the dump body.
Okay. So that one is 10,000. And what is Quirk's dump body that we don't really know?
Yeah, they didn't break it out like that.
I'm asking Adam, I got him online right now. I'm talking to him right now. I'm asking him about the rebate and I'm asking him about the plow, the difference in the plow.
Who are you talking to?
Adam from Heights.
Okay,
He said, yes, the Boss plow is about $500 less than the Fisher.
Was it a 9.2?
so they quoted a 9.2 painted steel V blade.
Let me ask him.
And then I guess the other thing I just want to check on while Ricky does that is with Quirk, they've put in their quote for a backup camera. Now, a cabin chassis has to come with a backup camera. But if you're going to upfit it, that camera has to be removed and then reinstalled. So I'm not sure if they're charging us. That did say something a little further down about the wiring, that the backup camera tends to come with 20 feet of wiring that then has to be reconfigured when the dump body goes on. Is that going to be on our dime? Or are they going to reinstall that if we go with Quark?
That never came up in our discussions, Melanie.
Is that some sort of law
Law that it be reinstalled?
that there is a backup camera?
There is.
Okay, well, I guess if it's law, then they would have to reinstall it, wouldn't they?
Well, I think technically because they remove it and you get the wiring with it, I guess you could choose not to put it in, but when they manufacture it, it has to have a backup camera.
Yeah. I think they'd have to do that if it's part of the law.
Plow they quoted was a 9.6 Fisher XBT, the XB2, not a stainless steel. So they're $500 less for the Boss than it is Fisher.
So they quoted it with a Fisher, but if we wanted them to do the Boss, we'd take another $500 off.
Yeah, but they don't install them there. He said they happy to install them this year probably. Oh,
Heights, you mean?
Yeah, big tax.
Big Tech. Yeah, he said they don't install them there.
They install Fisher, not
Right.
Boss, yeah.
But would they have it installed and would that be part of that cost? So we don't have to pay the extra?
Let me ask that question.
Sorry, guys, it was really going to be a 10-minute meeting.
Question's been asked.
Okay.
He apologized. He's on his way to Bangor driving and he's not online.
Tell him we're sorry we're hitting him up after business hours. And I feel his pain.
Well, maybe you should ask them if they just will hold the price for another couple days so that we can compare the plow, all the different things, the sander harness, so that, we can make a decision here. I mean,
It ends up being a little bit tricky right now, I think, because inventory is so scarce. So if they hold it for us till our next meeting, that's going to put them holding it for another week with no money in house.
I asked him, I said, would you have the plow installed at that price? He said, correct, sir. Oh, yes. I would assume the answer is yes.
All right. So I guess my thought on that then is if we're looking at a Boss plow and it's going to be the same plow as what was quoted on the other one, it's going to be $500 less overall. They already have the truck with the body installed. So we're not waiting on a body. Because we can say, I mean, I told a guy his truck was supposed to have a body on it in October, and that poor guy's body did not get put on until January. Because you're not in control of the folks that are doing the bodies.
That's a good point.
So,
I can vouch for that.
yeah,
I mean, if
yeah.
the Heights, yeah, that's a good point. If the Heights truck already has a body on it, minus $500, you know, the price is basically what Quirks is without a body that potentially could have difficulty getting installed. I don't know. I mean,
Did you ask him about that rebate, Ricky? Because Quirk didn't quote a rebate, and I didn't find a rebate. And I just don't want us to go with that one and end up owing $7,000 more than what we think we're going to.
He just,
Rick, just to,
he just sent me another text. He said, he wants wiring off the old sander into the new truck, you know, as well. If we can see that in the notes, we'll see that in the notes. Excuse me, I said, excuse me. He's got new wiring for it. So I guess he included the wiring for the sander too.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you say something?
No, the only other thing I wanted to check was that Heights quoted a 71.67 rebate. Quirks didn't quote a rebate, and I couldn't find a rebate anywhere. So I don't want it to, if we go with Heights quote, I don't want it to cost us another $7,000 after the fact because there isn't a rebate.
yeah, and that figure again, Rick, was 7,167.
Well, if they're quoting a rebate, then we're not gonna pay any more than what we sign on the contract, so. Guess they'll
Well,
be
that's-
eating it.
That's what I was just saying, though, is there is that coverage for, you know, essentially salespeople can tell you whatever. But the dealership doesn't have to back it if the salesperson shouldn't have said it. So I just want to be sure that there is that rebate because I didn't see it on Ford's website. I think there was like a $250 one and that was it.
well,
If they're both quoting the same trucks, then there's gotta be something in there, because they're both coming out pretty close to the same price.
Right, which is why I'm a little bit leery. You could make up some difference with a different dump body.
Yes, you can.
You know, we got steel, are we gonna get aluminum? We don't know. Because Quirk didn't tell us.
the height body is steel.
It is.
Can tell from the picture. But I don't even think
Have
they,
you got the new picture? I thought it was the 600 that was showing in that picture.
No, in the packet, Rick, that green truck, that's the truck that we're looking at.
Okay, yep, okay.
don't scare me like that, Rick.
What color is the Quirk truck? Just for the heck of it. Anybody know?
It was either black or white. I can't recall which.
I think it said black in the specs. I looked at it. One thing I did see, that Height's gonna give you a spare tire. I didn't see a spare tire in the other one.
Yeah.
Missed it.
Should we make the choice on between dealerships right now? I don't know. I mean, I bought my truck from Height. I mean, I'm happy with them. You know, they've
So
been great.
the truck at Height. The truck at Heights is the ones in the picture is the one that we're looking at.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's dark green.
Right,
Yeah.
no, we were talking, the one at Quirk is black.
Okay.
He said, yes. He said, look at the truck. He said, the rebate is off there, 71.67. So that's the price of the body, basically. I mean, that's what it is. He said, right now, a regular customer right now is $500. He said, laughing out loud.
Right, that's why I was surprised with that. All
So
right,
he's more or less verifying the rebate then.
Well,
Yes.
if we're just gonna beat this to death, I'll make a motion. We accept the one from Height, so it's already got the body on it.
I'll second that motion.
well, and I was just gonna say, and I'd like them to send us a new bottom line with the Boss painted V plow, the 9.2.
Yep.
And if it'll be $500 less, just so that we're actually looking at more like $47,061.
Have Ricky send him the email since he's talking to our right now so that he remembers to do it in the morning.
Yeah. All right, so moved and seconded.
I
Is there
won't tell you
any,
what he just sent me.
is there any more discussion? All right, Barbara, what's your pleasure?
Yes, I defer to all you truck experts.
Ricky
Yes.
and Dan?
Yes.
Ernie?
Yes.
All right, 5 yeses for the truck at Heights. Get her done.
What would you like me to ask him to do? Tell me again.
If he can just send a new quote tomorrow with the bottom line and take the Fisher Plow quote out and put the Boss 9.2 in,
Okay.
painted V, just so we have that new bottom line to move forward.
That okay with you, Anthony? I don't want to step on anybody's toes here. Okay.
No, yeah, but Rick, tell him to send it to me and then we'll take it from there.
Okay.
All right, next up on the agenda is discussion and consideration of seeking a legal opinion from the town attorney concerning a shoreline zoning application. I'll take a motion to open that item.
Make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That item is open for discussion. So I'm going to preface this, Anthony, with your memo, if that's okay.
Yes, certainly.
All right, so the planning board voted 4-1 on June 17 to seek authorization for you to ask the town attorney, Mike Hodges, to provide a legal opinion on questions raised during a discussion of the Brightside Marina shoreline zoning permit. Attached is a memo from the board chair, Peter Rushton, detailing the questions which the board would like legal guidance. Anthony did reach out to Maine Municipal because we did ask if we could see if there was any part of this that they could handle for us. And they came back with really the only question that they could answer. They didn't feel comfortable getting into a lot with the shoreline zoning. So the Belgrade Planning Board is in the process of reviewing a shoreline zoning permit application from Brightside Wooden Boat Services for a change of use of an existing repair shop from a home occupation or commercial use. The applicant's stated objective is to have more employees than the 2-employee limit of a home occupation as defined by Section 17 of the Belgrade Shoreline Zoning Ordinance. No construction or expansion of structures or other alterations to the land or vegetation are proposed as part of the application. The board's general question is how to properly apply the Shoreline Zoning Ordinance's minimum lot standards found in Section 15A to a change in use from a home occupation to a commercial use in this application. So do we want to read the background information? Yes, no?
I think the question before us is whether or not we want to authorize a legal opinion. Is that correct? I don't know if we want to get too deep into it. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That is where we were at. Okay, so 4-1, the planning board would like our authorization to move forward with the legal opinion. Our legal budget is getting pretty close to being tapped out for the year. So one of the things that we're going to have to figure out is how we're going to pay for legal moving forward.
And Melanie, just so the board knows, in this instance, one of the things that I've proposed is the planning board does have a budget. It's about $6,100. They've only spent about $1,300. And if you authorize Mr. Mike Hodgins to issue a legal opinion and respond to the planning board's questions, that I think would be a good and appropriate place to pay for it. We've got some budget there and it would help to preserve our legal budget at the moment.
Now, I'm assuming part of the planning board's budget, however, also pays for the planning board secretary.
It does, and that's essentially the only cost that we've had year to date. And again, we've only spent about $1,300. We've spent a little bit for a training manual and for some training for our new planning board member, but otherwise it's almost entirely that. So I wouldn't anticipate that this would completely drain the planning board budget, but it is likely to be costly.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we don't take the money from that budget and then they don't have the money for the secretary.
Understood, and I agree.
Melanie, I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
Hey, if we do this, what's the next thing's going to pop up? We keep going on and on and on. I don't get it. I think that we spent enough money on this. Taxpayers have for sure, and so wasn't Sean. I just don't know where we're going to go with this. I mean, this just doesn't quit. I mean, I can look into stuff and keep digging up stuff too, but why? What are we gaining out of this? I guess that's my question. Besides the bill.
Peter, can I just ask, am I correct in simply that we're certain that it doesn't matter how the planning board essentially decides on this, there's going to be a legal challenge one way or the other?
That's
Seems
my
to me
opinion.
That's, okay. So you just want to be sure that the Ts are crossed, the Is are dotted, and that we've done everything that we can to ensure that we've done everything that we're supposed to be doing and answered all the questions.
That is correct. It is that is our overarching goal, is to do exactly that.
Okay.
Could I just mention one more thing to supplement
Absolutely.
the idea? And it was mentioned, I think, in the memo from Anthony, but we are going to reach out to DEP as well to get input from them about interpretation of this. So I think the idea was to get as much information from both legal and subject matter experts to help.
Okay, is there more discussion on this?
So does this put this to bed once this is done?
And Ricky, I hope so. I mean, it has been a long and painful thing for everybody. And it's a challenging situation. That's what it comes down to. The situation with the lots, the way they're constructed, and the way the ordinance is shaped, it's tough, man. For me, I don't want to speak for others. It's very hard for me to know exactly how to respond.
All right. Roger Cates? Did you have your
Thank you.
hand?
Yeah, if this would be an okay time to say something, just a couple of thoughts.
No.
I'm here on behalf of Council for the Grants and Brightside Marina.
Okay, so I have a concern if there's counsel here for anyone that's involved in this, when the town wasn't notified that there would be counsel present, because then we would have had our own attorney present.
Okay, well, I certainly wasn't trying to pull a fast one here. I was on the invitation list from
Yeah,
Mr. Wilson.
I was going to say, Melanie, so at the last planning board meeting, Peter asked that all the information about this case be sent to Mr. Cates and to Jeff Allen, who is the grants engineer, who is here. And I did not know if Mr. Cates would attend or if he would, if he wanted to speak and at that point, I wouldn't have known if you guys wanted to have our attorney here as well.
I'm not comfortable having an attorney here for one party if our own attorney isn't present. I think that that's probably not a wise move for anyone moving forward. I will concur for the rest. I'll defer to the rest of the board if you think differently.
I agree.
I think I agree with you, Melanie. I think when we end up with the attorneys, making, speaking and stuff, we should be doing that more in an executive session rather than an open forum.
I agree. So 1, 2, 3. Barbara, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. Let's wait.
Okay. Ricky?
Yes, I don't have any problem with having our attorney here again, but boy, I'm pretty sick of this.
I know. Mandy?
Since you don't want the attorney to talk, I would just reiterate, I sent an email. We are consulted with our attorney. We are supportive of the planning board getting a legal opinion. We have some issues with the way the letter is written, in that we feel like it is, there are some leading questions that create some innate bias. However, I think that our attorney could work with your attorney to clarify that request. So we have no problem with it being clarified by the attorney. And as you know, I've sent an email. We have some issues about how this application has evolved in the process. And I suspect that the people that have contested the application also do too. And I think that's a bigger issue to look at going forward. Maybe not for this meeting, maybe after this application, but I think there's, the process has gone awry. And so that's a sidebar. And this is a application that was requested mandated by the town. And I would just point out that we're incurring legal expenses to move to a commercial permit, but essentially the function of what is happening on the lots that are in question will not change. The attorneys made it clear that the commercial application permit does not affect the existing permit and existing shoreline zoning permit. So the boat restoration piece of this business that occurs on this lot, there's no change in building structure, there's no change in functional activity. So it does seem like, as a taxpayer, it's not a wise expenditure for taxpayer money.
Okay, so the question before us is whether or not the select board agrees with seeking a legal opinion for the questions that the planning board has before they move forward. So I will make a motion that the town seek legal counsel in reference to those questions, as well as DEP counsel.
Second that motion.
Is there any further discussion? All right, seeing none. Ricky?
If this puts this to bed, I'll agree with it. If it doesn't, I won't.
Okay, Dan?
Yes.
Barbara?
Yes.
Ernie?
Yes.
All right, 5 yeses, 0 no's. So then I guess what we would do after that is once we have some answers, then if we need to have an executive session with both attorneys present, then that's how we would proceed.
And just so everyone knows, I will contact Mr. Hodgins first thing in the morning and ask him to get on this so that we're not wasting any time.
And we will also have our attorney reach out to Mr. Hodgins as well. They've communicated throughout this process.
Perfect.
Perfect.
All right, if there's nothing else that we need to discuss this evening, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that
You got
motion.
it.
Moved and seconded. Everybody's jumping on it. All right, all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you, folks. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.